So welcome everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Today we have a very special guest with us. We have the Kanban Queen with us from Pro Kanban, Janeé McConnell. And you know what? What is her greatest superpower? Her greatest superpower is her humor. And she says that is the kryptonite, right? And she also loves tacos. Apart from these things, she calls her calling is to inspire sustainable positive change in the service of helping others to be their most remarkable selves. She is passionate about surfacing the innate awesomeness of teams and helping those around her stay on the continuous journey towards becoming better. Oh, lot to unpack from you, Janeé. Thank you so much for actually being here.
Well, you are welcome. I am so honored that I was invited to come and be with you this evening.
Thank you, Janeé. Over to you, please. So for the folks who are wondering what is this today's topic about, today's topic is about Kanban for everyone. And I'm really excited to really explore this topic. Janeé, please go ahead.
Perfect. Oh, lovely. Thank you so much. Okay, Nagesh, thank you for that introduction. You really did your research, my friend. All of that is true, but you can also find all of that on my LinkedIn profile. I would like to think that all of those things are definitely true for me on a daily basis. Just to give you a little bit more background, I am joining you from the United States. I'm in Colorado, where it is morning and I'm still caffeinating. So if you notice that I'm maybe a little sleepy, that's just because it's morning and we're still getting going here. But yes, I am so excited to be here, and I wanted to chat with you all about our learning community. This is a community that many of the people on this call are already a part of, including Nagesh, Kuldeep, Prabhat, and probably several others that I'm not seeing the whole chat, but it's a community that I've been involved in now almost since the beginning. I started just kind of helping out with their website because I know just enough about WordPress to be dangerous. So I help out with that a bit. But my background, as you may or may not know, is actually the larger part of my professional background is as a teacher. And I taught preschool, early childhood education for almost 20 years. And then moved into the Agile space. And I found that they're very complementary to one another in all the best ways, right? There's a lot of things that I can bring from my teaching career to my Agile coaching profession, and I'm glad to be able to do so. So my colleague Colleen Johnson had just been at Scrum Day London a couple weeks ago. Not sure if anybody was able to see her there or if you saw what she presented on. She presented on the importance of diversity in our learning community and how we've really tried to build a diverse learning community for Kanban. And what I would like to talk about is building the power of an inclusive learning community and what that looks like for us. And what you could expect if you're a part of it, or if you would like to become a part of it. So yeah, we're good, Nagesh, you can go to the next one. So I think a lot of people maybe mix these things up, or they lump them together, and really they're friends. But diversity is a fact. It's all around us. Inclusion is a choice that you make. It's a choice that you make. You know, the example I've been given is diversity is being invited to the event, and inclusion is being asked to dance, right? So that's kind of, yeah, I love that quote too. So that's what I like to say. And when Nagesh invited me to speak with you all, I said, well, you know, what should I talk about? And he immediately responded. He said, I think you could talk about what you're most passionate about, Kanban for everyone. And I was like, oh, I can do that actually. That's something I talk about all day long. People will ask me to stop talking about it probably. So I thought we could explore the significance of creating a supportive and diverse learning community that empowers all individuals to learn and practice Kanban effectively. This is definitely at the heart of the values that Pro Kanban was built on, and this is what we try to achieve every day. So Nagesh, if you can go back to the one that has a picture of me. Yeah. I just want to tell you a little bit about this because I think this one is kind of interesting. So this picture, both of these pictures are me in my very first job as a Scrum Master. Okay. I had been hired at a tiny little startup here in Denver. We're talking, I think, 9 or 10 people total when I joined. And they were like, we need someone to do social media and project management. And I think we need a Scrum Master, but we're not really sure what that looks like for us. And I had just so happened to have just gotten my CSM. And I thought, how in the world is a preschool teacher who wants to be a Scrum Master supposed to get experience, right? Well, the answer is your network, right? It's who you know. So I ended up getting hired at this little startup. And so this is Janeé, the baby Scrum Master. And I was working with this team and they were running Scrum, but there were only 4 developers, right? And the thing that I kept hearing was, we just feel like this is a lot for us. We don't, it feels like a lot of process. So it's just the 4 of us. We're really trying to be lean and mean here as a tiny little team. So maybe there's a better way to do this. And Colleen Johnson comes to me and says, Kanban, you should try Kanban. So I thought, okay, great. I don't know anything about Kanban. I have to go learn that real quick. So we learned it together. And this is the picture on the right. So it's me in front of the very first Kanban board that I ever built. And then the picture on the right is me teaching the team what I had learned about Kanban, but we did it together. And I thought that was a really great opportunity for me, because who lets you show up day 1 on the job and you say, I don't really know how to do this. And they say, that's okay, we're going to do it together. So that was my experience starting out, and I'm very lucky to have done so. But at Pro Kanban, we definitely believe that an inclusive learning community plays a vital role in unlocking the full potential of Kanban and fostering professional growth and success. You see it all around us. There are plenty of examples, and I hope to show you more of those today. But that just means inviting everyone to teach, learn, grow, and even fail, make mistakes together. Because what we're doing is we're bringing our passion for Kanban to everyone and anyone who is interested in it. Right? This group here, my friends who've invited me to join, we love it. We want everyone else to love it the way that we do. So there's some key concepts to keep in mind when it comes to inclusion, especially in a learning community like ours. And the first of those is diversity. So that's this one. And you can see just, it's nice to see examples of different kinds of people all around you. And it helps us grow. So an inclusive learning community embraces individuals from diverse backgrounds, cultures, skill levels. That's the important one. Promoting cross-cultural understanding and encouraging a broad range of perspectives on Kanban. We all have different experiences with Kanban. We all come to the table with different ideas of what Kanban is, right? It's not just a board. It's not just a ticket, right? We all, and those are the things that we want to start helping people learn, and some unlearning too. So, okay, so let's see. Nagesh, if you could go back to the one with the heart. Yes. Okay. So next is respect and acceptance. Respect and acceptance of our diverse community. It ensures that people feel seen. It ensures that they feel heard and that they are valued, right? A lot of people can pay lip service to these things. When you are in a community, when you're part of a group where it feels true for you, it's your lived experience, that makes all the difference. For me in particular, I keep saying, as I've gotten more involved with Pro Kanban, it's quite honestly the happiest I've been in my professional career. Being with these people, doing the things that we do, having the conversations that we have, even when they're tough, makes me feel seen and heard and valued, because it gives me a place to kind of dive in, and it's always welcome. Okay, next one, Nagesh. All right. Second one, or third one, I guess, is equal access and opportunities. As you can see here, inclusive learning community ensures equal access to Kanban education and resources. And actually on the next slide, I have a few examples of how we do that. So we have quite a few strategies for this. Some of them I think are just inherent to who we are as people and how we show up for this community and these projects that we, dig into every day. But these are some examples. The first one would be accessibility for exams. I'm not sure if you follow us on LinkedIn or any of our social media places. We had announced probably about a month ago, I think, that we wanted to be sure that everybody understood that, we have these exams that you can come and take for certifications. We have 5 different certifications that we offer. You can take the exams for those through taking courses with some of our lovely and delightful trainers. But you can also directly purchase the exams on your own if you feel you're ready. And so we wanted to be sure that if people were kind of doing that self-paced learning and taking the exams on their own, and also through classes, that they knew that we're here to support our learners, no matter how they need to be supported. So we support people who have visual impairments. We support people who have various learning differences and things such as that might require them to have extended exam times or different one-on-one support for people who need it, which makes a big difference. I definitely, I have my oldest son, I have 3 children. My oldest is dyslexic. And so he definitely has always needed, as he's growing up, going through school, has needed different kind of accommodations. And so those are the sorts of things that we like to provide to our learners as well. So then the second one that I have here is representation. We have a Women in Kanban scholarship program. We just graduated our 2nd cohort. So that means that at this point, we've graduated over 25 ladies to join our growing global trainer community. And when they go through that, it's a 6-week process where they get to learn the material and work their way up to going through a peer review to become a trainer. And then we waive their first year trainer fees so that they can get into the community and start training. And often they'll do so by partnering up with some of our current trainers so that they can start, building up their personal brand and teaching those courses, spreading the word. So we also have a Slack community for connection. It's honestly one of my favorite places to be. I'm on there all day long, not because I feel I have to be, but because I really love it. I love the conversations that happen there. We have a wealth of knowledge with our trainers, and they're always willing to answer questions and jump into discussions. And like I said, sometimes they can be tough, right? Because it's putting us in a position of having to unlearn some things, having to confront some of our biases, that sort of thing. So but I really like it. And you can also share pictures of your pets, your babies, your trips, your food. Come join us and check it out. All right, next. So the next one is empowering people so that they feel engaged, right? We want to challenge biases, like I said before, by actively seeking out diverse perspectives and experiences, which we definitely do. Being open to questioning our assumptions and beliefs. That's a hard thing to do because many of us, I think, especially in the Agile space, we build up our personal brands on I know this, and I'm an expert, right? We joke, I'm the Kanban Queen. I mean, I'm also open to learning that I may not be the Kanban queen. That's okay too. But yeah, expanding perspectives, we're engaging with diverse individuals, cultures, ideas, and being open to learning and embracing different viewpoints at all times. It feels like this is one of those unique spaces where that is truly happening. And, you know, Kuldeep, Nagesh, Prabhat, you guys could say more about that if you feel you have something to add.
No, I think you spoke it very well, Janeé. I'm really grateful for the opportunities Pro Kanban provides, and specifically, I actually had a question in my mind. If I can ask you,
Yeah.
So now we see that a lot of people are always into the debates of Scrum versus Kanban, and they kind of get into the rabbit hole. And what's your thought and perspective towards that?
Oh gosh. I mean, that's a good one. And I feel like that's hot right now, right? I feel like we've seen a lot of those. You probably, I mean, I almost feel like my LinkedIn algorithm points to that. Every time it shows up, it's like, Janeé's going to want to read about this. So I do. But I feel like they are truly complementary. I mean, I feel like, I don't know if it's that people want to feel a certain amount of like power or autonomy over these concepts and their knowledge of them, but really we should be more flexible and open with one another. I try and be as pragmatic as I possibly can, I guess is what I should say. I don't want to pit them against one another because that's not going to get us anywhere. I really do feel like they're complementary. And if we can try and take a step back and you know, get a little bit of distance from like the dogma of it all, I think that's going to be best. So does that answer your question?
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. Building bridges over creating walls, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's more fun that way. You get to go somewhere maybe you've never been. Yeah. Okay. So the last one is personal growth, seeking opportunities for collaboration and understanding. It enhances our ability to connect, relate, and work with others. I learn something every day. I feel like I'm being stretched and, you know, asked to grow in lots of ways, both big and small, by being a part of this community. And I appreciate that more than I can say. So, all right, what do we have next here? Okay. So this is a screenshot of our most recent Women in Kanban cohort that I had just mentioned. This is in one of our training classes as the ladies were going through the APK course that we provide. And then, you know, you can see some examples here of, you know, how we try and do that. We have diverse teams. We create these safe spaces. We really try and provide genuine support. Our mentors, our trainers, our leaders, they're always there. There's never a time where it's like, I don't have time for that right now. I can't answer it. And even if there is, it's like, hey, I can't answer this right now, but maybe Nagesh can, or maybe Janeé can, or, you know, Kuldeep, somebody's going to be there to help you. And I think that this is important because I do feel like there are, you know, as any of us are starting out in our career, even as we're just learning something new, we've been doing this for a while, but we want to take on something new, a new challenge. It means a lot to have a safe and inclusive learning environment. And that's one of our core tenets, right? We want to make the barrier, the entry point for learning Kanban and being able to practice Kanban as low as possible without compromising the important parts of it, right? Which you can find in the Kanban guide. But, you know, by prioritizing respect, empathy, and creating those safe spaces for learners to engage with one another, ask questions, share experiences, learn from your successes, learn from your failures. Don't be afraid to share those things with us so that, you know, it can help, we can help one another. It's a big deal. It really helps. So Then we have communication and collaboration, and you had just said this, Nagesh, building bridges. This is a picture from, was this Lean Agile London, I believe, I think. Kuldeep, you were there, right? Okay. So promoting shared leadership and decision-making helps us share the load of, what happens in the pro Kanban community every day, all of the many things we want to accomplish. We can't do it by ourselves. There's only so many hours in the day, so we have to lean on one another. And I think that we do that well. And it makes everyone better. Like I said, I mean, I've gotten to a point in my life where I can tell you quite honestly, I don't know everything. And I'm actually really glad about that, because that seems like a lot of pressure. Inclusive communities encourage shared leadership. We definitely have that. Participation and democratic decision-making, empowering professionals to have a voice and contribute to shaping our community's direction and activities. And you can see here on this slide, I will share this deck for anybody who wants it later, but some examples of how we do that. We actually just kind of rebranded what was our trainer event, where all of our trainers would get together. It was usually a 2-day event where we would kind of get together for these strategic and like planning discussions. Like, what do we need to be focusing on? What's kind of in our way? What big things could we do next? What are our hopes and dreams, right? It was a 2-day event where we're all kind of just like navel gazing and chatting about all the things. However, we decided it might be nice to have one of those days dedicated to inviting the community in to join us, whether it's virtual or in person. At this point, we've only done a few. But we would invite people from the local Agile community where we're meeting to come and join us and meet our trainers, ask questions, maybe have a beer, hang out with us a little bit, find out more about, what we do and why. But also part of that is doing a meaningful community service project. So at Lean Agile London, in this picture, you can see this was just the trainer aspect, but the day before, this group had gone to a community garden to help, build planter boxes and paint trellises and plant plants for an elder care facility, I believe it was. So yeah, we actually just got the impact report from that, and it's really cool. I can't wait to share that. Is that a question for me about the COP?
So there seems to be a question from Nisha. So Nisha says that, is there community of practice happening in Pro Kanban where we can participate?
I love this question. And Nisha, the funny thing is that like a week ago, I said, we should be doing a COP. Why aren't we doing that? Something like that, I think, would be a lot of fun. So to answer your question, Nisha, right now it's not happening, but it's definitely on our minds. And I would love to hear more about how that could be most valuable to people. So feel free to join our Slack community. You can send me a message or an email anytime. And that's definitely something that we want to start to build out. I just, in relative to all the other things we have kind of on the list of things to do, I'm not quite sure where that lands, but I'd love to talk about it more.
So we would like to hear about that and be a part of that too.
Okay, perfect. I would love that too. Yeah. All right. So let's see, next one. Okay. So then I have just developing cultural awareness. I think this is really important. And I think that this is something that, at least, in my initial experiences in the Agile world, I definitely, just as a woman, I felt like there wasn't a whole lot of diversity starting out. I definitely see it more now, and I see it more at Pro Kanban than any place I've ever been. Our trainer community represents 26 different countries, I think, right now. It might be a couple more, but I did a quick count this morning. But 26 different countries all over the world. And that's not even to mention our student and Slack community. It's even wider, I guarantee it. We just hit 1,000 Slack community members, probably 2 or 3 months ago, you guys. I can't can't remember. I think we did like a big push. Yeah. So I thought that was really neat, right? I mean, none of us needs one more Slack channel to be in, but this one is a lot of fun. You learn a lot. We're very helpful. Like I said, show me pictures of your puppies and your kittens and your babies. I want to see them. Okay. Yeah, but I really, like I said enough about the, challenging biases and that sort of thing. I just really love the opportunity to engage with people from all over the world. Like I said, I learn something every day, and it keeps us rooted in a space of being sure that we are promoting fairness, equity, and inclusivity, both in our space, but in the professional spaces where we go and use these concepts and this knowledge. Okay, so this is just a recap of these core elements that I've kind of discussed. We've got diversity, respect and acceptance, equal access and opportunities, empowerment and engagement, support and accommodation, open communication and collaboration, education and awareness, and continuous improvement, which we already know about, but it's important to mention. So, and then, yeah, by incorporating these core elements into our community, we work so that true inclusion can be achieved. We want to foster an environment where everyone feels valued, everyone feels respected, and everyone is empowered to contribute their best, but to be themselves. Bring what you have. We're here for you and we welcome you.
Looks like Nisha has a question. Nisha, go
ahead. Nisha, go ahead.
Yes, Janeé. So we hear more about respect probably in the Scrum framework as well. We know the concept of how we have to show respect each other, whatever it is in that matter. Can you just explain more on acceptance, on what, I mean, how that can be applicable? I mean, is it acceptance just because they have a different mindset, or we just go ahead and accept it? Can you just give some light on how do we go ahead with this?
That's a good question, Nisha. I mean, yeah, at top of my mind when I was thinking about that was, okay, somebody's going to show up and say, well, I thought you should, never do this, or I thought you should always do that. And what about swim lanes? And what about classes of service and that sort of thing, right? This goes back to the rabbit hole that Nagesh mentioned earlier. Some people can show up with different perspectives on, not just Kanban concepts, but also how we do things, or maybe how we don't do things. And it's not just about saying, oh, well, okay, I accept that. But I would like to consider all of those things as an invitation to a conversation, because it could be an invitation for me to learn something. It could be an invitation for this other person to learn something. But it's always an invitation to grow. And I think that, that's a very powerful thing, especially when you have a community that is all coming from diverse backgrounds of how they've used Kanban, what they need from us and that sort of thing. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome.
And Janeé, I would like to add something to what you said.
Oh, you please do.
Wonderful explanation about the respect. And if you look at the Pro Kanban's purpose, I think we are an inclusive Kanban learning community focused on forward progress. And when we say inclusive, means we are creating a space for egoless conversations.
Yeah.
You can bring your thoughts. Feel free to disagree to what our community is saying currently, and we are happy to explore the way forward. And it's all about, building the bridges, not the walls, as Nagesh said earlier. And please bring all those thoughts, your challenges, and we are happy to discuss during that community as well. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, no, thanks, Kuldeep. That's really good. I think, I don't feel like I'm learning unless I'm being pushed a little. And I might be, in the minority as far as that's concerned. But if everything is easy, I'm going to get suspicious. If everybody's agreeing with me, I'm not sure if we're going to get anywhere, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. I love it when people agree with me. Okay. I have 3 kids. I'm not used to that. So, But yeah, I think that also, if you spend any amount of time on LinkedIn, having a place to go where there's egoless conversation might be nice, right? Because sometimes that's not exactly what's happening on LinkedIn. So it's nice to have somewhere to go where you can really feel safe to have those conversations, challenge and be challenged. Yeah, cool. So this is my last slide with little baby Janeé there. I always have the table set for whoever wants to show up, even if it's just stuffed animals. I think I still had a good time. I mean, look at those suspenders, just style from day one. So we've mentioned the Slack community. It looks like maybe somebody dropped the link for that in the chat, I hope. And if not, I'm happy to follow up. I put my email address. You can also reach us at support@prokanban.org. This is our website. I dropped both Twitter's handles if you want to follow us on Twitter. I will tell you, I don't use Twitter at all. Lately, I'm mostly doing, I actually started TikTok. I should have put that on here, Nagesh. I have a TikTok. I'll drop it. I'll give it to you and you can send it to people if you want. I've just been having fun with my Agile TikTok account. And then we have an Instagram as well. And I think Pro Kanban also has a TikTok because Maria and I have been having fun with that. So that is it. Are there any other questions? I would love to hear more from the group. Or is everybody ready to go have a Saturday night? Are you ready to go party?
Or perhaps everyone is mesmerized by your presentation.
Oh my goodness. Well, who knew? So Mina has a question. Okay.
So, Janeé, I have a question, very fresh. I think yesterday only Pratik and Daniel and Colleen posted something about purchasing parity.
Oh my gosh, Kuldeep, thank you for mentioning that. I think I put it on the slide and then I just raced right by it. Thank you. Yes. So this is something that we've been working on for the past month. This is something that came, I think, from the trainer event at Lean Agile London. We discussed how it would be nice to have purchasing parity for our assessments. As I had mentioned earlier in the call about how students can go to our website and directly purchase those assessments that they can take for certifications, of which we have 5 different ones, if you're doing a self-paced learning. But up until now, all of the assessments were the same price for you no matter where you are in the world, right? We realize that there's, different countries have different purchasing power. So we wanted to be able to find a way to get our prices to change based on geographic location and purchasing parity. So we launched that. I've tested it with quite a few people, but please let me know if you don't see it. If you go to our website, if you go to any of the certifications and you go to purchase that exam, you should see a banner at the top of the page that will say, hey, it looks like you're in India. We support purchasing parity. So if you would like, you can use this coupon to get a certain percentage off of your assessment so that it's more affordable. Thank you, Kuldeep.
I think that's a very good
Welcome,
move. Very good move, which Pro Kanban has taken. Really nice, especially for countries which are finding it difficult in terms of taking several assessments. I think
Yes.
this is very helpful, Janeé.
I think so too. And right now, a lot of people are wanting to, unfortunately, a lot of companies are, laying off their agile departments or, certain positions. And so people are wanting to upskill or gain new skills. And, in our world, certifications are kind of the quickest way to do that. So we wanted to be sure that people could, scoop them all up if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there is one question, and possibly I will just ask Meena only to ask that question, because that looks like a little tricky question. So Meena, go ahead, ask your question.
Uh-oh.
Hi, Janelle. Hi, Nagesh. Thanks for this Beautiful evening. Yes, one of my questions is what I always face, or I don't know if it's me alone, when times of short supply, right? It will be a little difficult to empower, engaging that empowerment and how going through that collective decision making. So most of the times I tend to feel, let's just, it's a wrong word to say, elect that one leader who will decide for others. Particularly on some situation when the discussion is not concluding, nobody wants to decide anything. They just want to keep discussing till the time comes come home. So I want to know how to respectfully disempower, if that's the right word.
No, I mean, gosh, that is a good question. I mean, it's tricky because that's definitely a boat that we've all been in, right? Like you have somebody who is kind of steering the ship and maybe not listening to other voices, if I hear you correctly, right? And we want to be able to ask for some of that back. I will be honest and tell you that I that's not something that I've mastered yet in my professional or personal career, but I like to start by asking questions and getting curious, right? I'm curious why we're not stopping to make a different decision. I'm curious why we're not asking more questions of the rest of the people here that, you know, like the collective that, you know, puts their time and energy into these, you know, decisions that are being made. And that does go back to, you know, my teaching career. You know, when something is happening and your first reaction here is to say, no, that's wrong. And, oh, you're doing it wrong. Or, oh, no, that's not what I had in mind. To just stop, take a minute and ask questions. Just start by asking questions. And like I said, Meena, I don't know if that's, I would never say like, that's exactly how everybody should handle it, but that's definitely how I handle it, because I feel like that changes the conversation. It takes a little bit of air out of the balloon, so to speak.
Yeah, I could sense that. Sometimes it helped me to just ask the right questions, right? So that the answers will go for themselves. Just guide the team towards answering the right questions. Thanks for
that. And focusing on impact, right? Like a lot of people, I think, show up to these conversations saying like, and I, you know, somebody had just posted about this on LinkedIn and now I can't remember who it was, but it stuck in my brain because they were talking about like, oh, we're solving this problem and I'm going to go and solve this problem and you guys are all going to help me, right? But a lot of times the conversations around problems aren't really what you think they're about. It's more about, you know, their conversations, they're negotiations, really. Negotiations about power, you know, influence, reputation, you know, controlling the narrative. If you start to kind of look beneath the surface of that bravado, you can learn a lot more about a person, and then you can start asking those questions to maybe guide things in a different direction. But listen, you let me know how it goes, Meena, and we'll be supporting each other.
Thank you. I will.
Thank you so much. So yes. I want to be sensitive towards your time, Janeé.
Yes.
And I want to thank you on behalf of our community. You've been very generous. It's early morning for you. Again, Saturday for you as well. Showing up and really sharing your wisdom, being so kind and passionate about what you are actually doing. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me and for the discussion. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Janeé.
Very much, Janeé.
We really appreciate it. Thank you
Have
very
a
much.
lovely evening.
Thank you. Thanks,
Have a
everyone.
wonderful day.